Hello there, and welcome back to the Codex. Today we're going to be doing a quick showcase of absolutely murdering an Archon hunt using Titania. I've got my friend Wildcat here. He is playing as Gauss there. He's going to be on the side helping me out, just get this Archon hunt done. Although the kill will be mainly done by me. He'll be zooming around and killing some of the other enemies there, of course. Let's go ahead and jump into the arsenal and take a look at this Titania build. Go ahead and say hi to the lovely audience, Cat, if you'd like.
Hello, lovely audience. How y'all doing today?
Well, hopefully they're doing wonderful.
I would hope so.
Let's go look at the Titania build here. So this is the Titania build. That's close to the build that I would typically use for most missions anyway. There's a few tweaks here for running an Archon hunt, primarily using preparation, for example, because being able to start the mission with that max energy lets you get straight into the Archon kill. You don't have to sit at spawn and wait for pads to fill you up and things like that. Now, I'm going to go to the elephant in the build, as some people might call it, and point out that, yes, Archon Vitality is on this build. And when you go see my gun build in just a moment here for the Dex Pixia, you will notice that it doesn't have heat damage. So currently, Archon Vitality is not doing anything. The reason why this is on here is because whenever you are using a Dex Pixia build in which you're modded for heat damage, since the Dex Pixia are a weapon, but they're an ability weapon, they do count as an ability applying heat. So every time that you shoot someone with Dex Pixia and apply a heat proc, it'll apply 2 of them, which of course makes the heat proc damage output of Dex Pixia much higher for a corrosive heat build, for example. Or if you're doing like a Thermal Sunder Exterminate build, it makes Thermal Sunder apply twice as many heat procs. So it's really good for that. And it just fits, so I have no reason not to run it. If I were to put regular Vitality here, it'd be the same amount of health. So since it fits regardless, there's really no reason to change it. One thing you could do in terms of potentially upgrading this build is you could drop Transient Fortitude and Archon Vitality for Umbral Vitality and Umbral Intensify instead of Transient Fortitude. That would be basically the same strength. That would be 54% strength versus 55, but you would get that negative 27.5% duration back. So that would be a nice little duration bump for you. And she would get more health, of course, because having the double Umbral would be more health than just the regular or Archon Vitality here. Now, the Precision Intensify, do keep in mind that that's on here, so the 190% strength that you see in the arsenal is actually going to be 280% once you're in the mission, since this 90% here is not displayed. I'm also running Arcane Precision for the Arcane here, along with Arcane Energize. Energize, of course, standard Arcane, just gives you some energy. Precision here is the real interesting one. This will be really good for getting the Archon hunt done. This is a nice damage boost that doesn't require getting any kills. So if you just rush straight to the Archon and start bursting its head, you'll get this 300% damage bonus to your secondaries. And since Dex Pixia is modded as a secondary ability, it does receive secondary buffs. So this will apply to her Dex Pixia. Razor Ring Blitz, of course, basically mandatory mod on any Titania build. I can't imagine not running this. The stats on this mod, as most augments do, scale with ability strength. So this is a ton of flight speed and fire rate. And when you pair this with using energized munitions as the helmet ability, replacing her third, giving you 75% ammo efficiency, which means that you only actually expend ammo every 4th shot, you can really pump out the bullets. And let's go look at the Dex Pixia build here. Speaking of pumping out the bullets, I have Accelerated Isotope, Anemic Agility, and Lethal Torrent, all giving me fire rate. And typically, that would make you empty your mag instantaneously and be a pretty annoying build to run, but again, with having your magazine be effectively 4 times larger, thanks to using energized munitions, this is a enormous DPS build. And we have Hornet Strike, Galvanized Diffusion here, just basic damage and multi-shot. Since it is an exalted ability, we are, of course, still using a base damage mod since you don't have arcanes for abilities. We're using Primed Convulsion and Primed Heater Charge for a massive amount of radiation damage, since Archons have alloy armor, which is weak to radiation, which is also why we're using Deep Freeze as the last mod on the side, because they have a secondary weakness to cold. So, pretty quick rundown there. Not really much more to go over besides that. That will be what most of the kills are from. I will technically be getting a few kills with the Occucore on regular enemies, since I do have 2 Emerald Shards, which in fact, let's go over the shards in the build real quick here. I do have 2 Emerald Shards on Titania for extra stacks of Corrosive. My current Dex Pixia build isn't using Corrosive, but my Occucore build is. I switched it to my Corrosive Heat Occucore to strip armor since my Titania is running those shards. The other shards are all ability strength shards, which right now only one of them is Tau Forged, but of course, ideally, you would want all 3 of these to be Tau Forged. You could make these other shards. You could do ability duration, for example, if you want a little less maintenance on your abilities, but pretty much no matter what you use, even if you didn't have any of these shards, this build would still perform quite nicely. So let's go ahead and jump into the mission, and we will see how this performs. Hello, editing codex here. One quick note, just before we jump into the mission that I should have mentioned before. If you want to really maximize your damage, I would recommend changing your companion to the Adarza Kavat. The reason for that is due to the Cat's Eye buff that your Adarza can give you, which is a flat 60% crit chance increase to your loadout. The reason why that's especially good on Titania, which is due to the fact that her crit chance is terrible. That's why I'm not running any crit chance, crit damage mods on here, because her base crit chance is only 10%. So even with the fully maxed out version of Primed Pistol Gambit, her crit chance is not even 30%. But if you can get that flat 60% increase, and then potentially pair it with this, for example, or even just with her base 10%, that takes you up to 70% crit chance. And with Tenacious Bond making your crit multiplier on Titania 3.2, even without any crit mods, you actually start putting out way more damage for at least a few seconds during the duration of that buff. So if this happens to trigger while you're mowing down the Archon, for example, that's a large damage increase. So if you really want to maximize these Archon runs, go ahead and run this companion. Alright, now we'll jump into the mission in just a moment here. Alright, here we are in the mission, guys. And as you can see, even though I just spawned in, I have totally maxed out energy here, so I don't have to wait at spawn. I can get straight into the mission and fly over to the Archon. Now I just gotta wait for my slow-ass friend here, Wildcat, with his supposedly speedy Gauss Prime to get to the Archon so I can kill it.
Hey, man, look. He's fast in my heart.
That's true. People think he's fast because of the frame effect that he gives. But in reality, if you want to be the real queen of speed...
It breaks my heart knowing
Titania.
Titania is so much faster than him, but, you know... It's a sacrifice I just have to come to terms with.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
It hurts even more knowing Volt will forever be faster than I am.
Also, I just popped Void Strike here, so you can get that damage bonus. And then pop your Energized Munitions, so you have basically infinite ammo. And there you go. Phase over. And as you can see...
I got one shot in.
As you can see, he is trying to very angrily grab my very tiny Titania. That was actually really funny, seeing that animation while in a Razor Wing.
The giant warrior getting mad at the Fae for taking his attention.
For real, for real. Alright, I'm going to go to A. My friend Wildcat here, he's going to go to B.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure very competently take care of that Deacon.
I mean, look, one can only,
Alright,
hope and pray and try.
Where is this guy? Am I blind? Alrighty. Please die. There we go. Now, this is the only part of the mission in which you are not able to stay in Razor Wing indefinitely. Because, unfortunately, you can't carry anything while in Razor Wing, so you are not allowed to carry that Deacon's helmet. So I've got to just quickly rush back here. Which is why it's good that Titania has a passive ability of farther bullet jumps.
Yeah, her and Mirage are her passives, or their passives are about fast movement.
Yeah, Mirage's passive ability is increased parkour velocity, so it's close to the same thing. So we're just chilling here.
I have a question for you. Do you use parkour velocity shards on her with that passive, or?
I do have an exterminate build, yeah, where I use that. It's quite funny for Xeramin bounty exterminates. And here we go.
Don't worry, I'll catch up eventually, man.
I believe in you.
Enjoy your trip to Boca. I'll be flying coach.
Gotta give myself my status immunity here so I can stop bumping off walls. For anybody who doesn't know, if you hold cast her first ability, you self-cast it on yourself, and it gives you the status immunity that the ability grants. It's quite handy.
God, you move so much faster than I do. Breaks my
I am
heart.
flying.
Yeah, but like legs.
Legs are under
Gauss
prepare.
run fast. Yeah, Usain Bolt.
Where did he go? Where's the real
Yep.
one?
Is this him? Yep, found him.
He's
He
pulling out all the tricks
immediately,
now.
yeah, he immediately swaps into
Gonna,
defensive mode.
gonna
A
go ahead
little
and
hurt.
pop my Matter Eye here. And then immediately bust into walls because I'm going too fast. He will not. He's doing every phase in the book, huh?
Yeah,
He does not want to let you do damage to him. It's crazy. But once you can do damage, as you can see,
and then he immediately gone again.
yeah, basically the second you can actually do damage to him, Titania immediately obliterates him. All right, let's go ahead and get out of here. Well, I'm gonna go make a sandwich while I wait for Wildcat to get to extraction.
It's okay. I didn't hit any door frames, running to extraction that time.
So proud of you.
Thank you, thank you.
No Tau Forge, sadly.
It's always a shame, but
Did you get one?
increased chances next time around. I did not.
It's too bad. We didn't pay Warframe enough of a bribe this month. Or this week, rather.
I could have swore I paid Rebecca at least like $2,000. I feel that's enough for a couple Crimson Tau Forges, but
Alright, guys. Well, that's been just a quick showcase on how spicy Titania is for Archon hunts, if I can speak properly. If you enjoyed the video, maybe drop a like and subscribe. If you have any tips or tricks or any ways you think you could perhaps enhance a Titania loadout such as this, you can leave it down in the comments below. Or you can tell me what frames that you prefer to use for Archon hunts. Maybe Revenant to be immortal. Maybe you like flying around as Wukong and Cloudwalker. Who knows? Let me know what you like.
hey,
Anyways. Oh, yes, go ahead.
I'll say maybe some people like using Stug builds. I've heard those are pretty optimal,
I,
personally.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you can't one-shot an Archon with a Stug, are you really in the end game yet?
I, all too true. All too true.
But anyways, guys, I will see you in the next one.